Hey you guys, it's Jasmine from Paint the Green. Thank you for joining us again on our June Mini Makers box. What you have in your box today is a cute little popsicle that says Sweet Land of Liberty. It'll be perfect just in time to celebrate 4th of July. I think it's super cute, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you're new with us, welcome. We are so excited to have you. You have 4 colors. You have some red, you have white, you have a light blue, and you also have a navy blue. These are the main colors that we're going to use. Like I said, or like I've said before, you don't have to use these colors in this order. You can do whatever order you want. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to separate everything. I always like to separate the words in one section. Just organize what you like to do. This extra little piece, that's going to be what's going to help you hang from the back. I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit. But your popsicle has, I guess, 4 sections. This main part here is just to hold everything together so you don't have to paint it. And then I'm also left it blank because the natural color of the wood is typically that color of that popsicle stick. So we're gonna move that off to the side. And then we're gonna go ahead and start painting. I'm gonna do, have you seen, hopefully you guys have seen those popsicles that are like that rocket popsicle. If I remember correctly, it's red at the top, white in the middle, and blue at the bottom. But I'm gonna change up my blues a little bit, right? So I'm gonna start with the red. Always dip into the paint, blot some off. If you're working with your box, use the box to help paint on it. And then because these are a little, they're bigger, if you don't blot as much, that's okay, because you could slide it and spread the paint as you're sliding it, okay? And then just always slide towards the edges, therefore keeping the sides here unpainted, okay? Then you're gonna set that aside. You're gonna do the next color. If you have to pause this video for any reason, feel free to do so, and then just move on to the next color, because you are gonna be doing 2 coats of every color. So take your time with this. If most likely you will have to pause. I tend to go very fast just because I don't want to make the video way too long for you, but I do want you to enjoy the process of painting. It's so much fun. I hope you guys are having a fabulous summer. You've been out of school for a couple weeks now. We are headed on a vacation. So you may get your box, actually you will get your box a little earlier, heading on a vacation towards the end of June. So I'm gonna actually put this one, the light blue, as my bottom blue. If you wanna use the darker blue, you can. I'm just doing that because I'm gonna put the words in navy. So I kind of want to, I want them to pop really well. So, and I feel they would pop nicely against a lighter background, but they would also pop nicely too the other way. Okay, so we'll move those aside, just making sure that you can still see what's going on here. Okay, we're gonna let those dry, and then in the meantime we're gonna paint the words. Now the words, the process of the words, you are gonna want to hop like a bunny. Some of you have been to the studio, some of you haven't. If you haven't, that's okay. You're gonna dip into the paint, blot it off, always blot it off so it looks like it's not so gloopy gloppy on the sponge, and then just hop like a bunny over your words. That's the most important part. That's what you want to do, because you don't want it to gloop too much or get into those little grooves, for several reasons. You don't, if it gets into the grooves, it'll take forever to dry. And then the light coats makes it dry a little faster. So light coats of that, okay? Well, again, like I said, we're gonna do everything 2 coats. And then my stars, I am gonna keep white, but I'm going to kind of place them in a way, make sure you could still see that, yeah. place them on the popsicle in the way where you'll be not like on top of the white. So glue those on. Typically we have a bigger background color, but you don't have to do a bigger background color for this one. Remember, always blot off your paint before you go onto your wood. And if you don't, it'll be okay. What you could do is just kind of spread that paint evenly other places. This part, these two little pieces, you can paint if you want to. You don't have to. I'm not going to paint mine, but if you do paint it towards the end just to make sure you have enough paint for all of this, okay? And so we'll move that aside. And now, where we started is nice and dry, okay? So now I'm gonna start all over again. Now, if you want to give your popsicle some fun, if you have like paintbrushes or like the edge of a pencil or something that's round, you can go in there and just kind of like make different dots or different designs or swirls or whatever you want to do, if you want to make your popsicle a little more just fun, if this isn't fun enough for you. A paintbrush would work. What else would work? The tip of a pencil would work. If you know, even just remember to rinse it out. I mean, if you want to use it again, or even the top of the pencil, the eraser part of the pencil, you can dip it in there and make swirls. Or you guys are so creative, so I'm sure you'll make it pretty. And then always, if you can, I love seeing the pictures that you do send me, but for those of you who are new, I love getting your pictures, so then I can repost and we can show other kids how fun these little projects are for you. Dip that into there. Yeah, you see how I kind of dipped it and then just kind of took a whole bunch. Because it's a bigger surface, it's okay to kind of get more on bigger surfaces because you can slide it and spread the paint. So then just spread it evenly until you can see that, and then important just to let it dry. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the words, and then make sure that's still recording. Yeah, okay. Dip into here, blot off. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I know some of you love to use that QR code to scan, and then you have your videos here. You also have written instructions. But I do always like making the videos because that's the way I learn, by listening and doing and watching. But I know a lot of people learn by reading and understanding first and then going back. So I hope they're both helpful to you as a learner, as a student. It's into here. Blot that a second time. Hold it by the edges. And there should be enough on here. Shouldn't have to go and dip it more. It's very much like, you know, well, some of you, if you've seen Mom paint nails, I know some of you are boys, so you don't, I mean, maybe you do, I don't know. I just got my nails painted and I got paint all over them. That's okay, it'll wash off. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of set everything. I'm gonna move my paint off to the side because I don't need it anymore. At this point, if you want to do something cute and fancy with your designs, you can. I'm gonna just set mine on to the main popsicle here. Just still gonna keep those out of the way. Before you start to glue anything, always, always, always just make sure you have everything where it belongs. Isn't that the cutest thing? So I'm actually gonna do it, yeah. If you like I said, if you don't, that's okay. I'm gonna just take the bottom of a paintbrush or a pencil or something, dip it into your white paint, and then just give random dots. Make it fun. If you want to do swirls or whatever you want to do. There. And then obviously I'm not going to put it on the white because you won't be able to see it. And make it random. Make it yours. Just kind of dabbing that on there. So when you do that, just make sure, oops, that's okay. Walk away from it, let it dry really well. Pause the video. I'm gonna go ahead and keep on going, so obviously you don't have to sit here and watch my paint dry. When it comes time for the glue, this is a super glue. You gotta open it just like this. That's kind of enclosed right there. Hopefully you could see that. But the tip of the opposite side of the top of the cap has a little, like a little pop there. So you're gonna just kind of take that and pop that out. If you need help, please call someone to help you. Don't use a lot of paint with these. You only need a little bit of paint, especially when it gets to the popsicles. Just kind of use random dots, especially at the edges. So I'm gonna flip mine over. Just random dots everywhere, just around the edges, and maybe a few in the middle. Because A, you don't want to run out, and then B, when you put it on, make sure it's nice and flush. That's probably one of the main reasons why we put everything where we want it to go first. And then don't press down, because if your dots are still wet, if you did that, you don't want to mess them up. So always hold by the edge, like the edges here. Just make sure it's nice and flush. This glue is not 100% forgiving, so you kind of want to do it right, or close to right, you know, the first couple of times. So we lift this one, give the dot glues here on the edges, and then put it up against that red first, and then you'll have time. You will have a little bit of time to kind of just make sure it's glue. Press down. If it's not wet, you can press down, but be careful that your fingers make sure they're clean. You can get a baby wipe, or you can, I should probably do that. Get a baby wipe, or we'll wash your hands, let everything dry first, because you don't want to touch, if your fingers have a little bit of different paint colors on them, and you touch a color that's not that color, then it'll get on there, and it can be cleaned up, but you know, you just want to be careful. And then let's do the blue. See, a little bit of that white seep through, so that was a little hard for me to pop up, but I got it. Random dots. Don't squeeze too hard. That's the key. Squeeze very lightly until you start seeing that come out. Okay. So now I'm going to set up my words. Sweet land of liberty. That's so cute. Isn't that adorable? And also leave room for your stars, because remember, your stars are white, so you don't want them on the white. I guess you can have them a little bit on the white. I'll put one here, and then like one semi right there. That's cute, right? Okay, here we go. So for the stars, you really just need like one bigger dot in the middle, I would say. And then once you place it, don't try to push down and wiggle it around, because the glue will do some seeping. Just let it sit. So like I said, just put everything where you want it to go, lift, glue, and then put right back. Okay. Now the words, because they're kind of cursive, it doesn't have to be straight. So if you want to mix it up and, you know, make it go a little sideways, you could do that too. Okay. So sweet, So what I did there, oh my gosh, my finger's stuck. Okay, what I did there is I just took those two E's and the W and then just lined it up against that white line right there. Okay, land of, this can go just eyeballing right in the middle. Land of, I totally just eyeballed that. I didn't measure anything. Land of, and then Liberty is my last one. You see white on the back of here because I didn't let mine dry, but you make sure you let yours dry. Okay, and then Liberty, that's so pretty. Okay, so now once, well, we still have to glue this. I'll let that dry. I just want to make sure that you rinse your hands off. If you got a little bit of glue on your fingers, just make sure you rinse your hands off so it's not so icky. These two pieces, I'm going to kind of show you how that goes. Flip them both. I mean, it doesn't really matter what side it goes on, but just, you're going to use one side of the smaller rectangle and put like 3 dots on it, and then when you line it up, flip it over and line it up to where it's glued towards the bottom half. So you don't want it to cover those holes. I'm going to turn it here to the side so you could see. Do you see how that looks? Hopefully you could see that. Just glue those together first, okay? Because we're going to hang string from here, and then we're going to put glue on the other side of this, sticking it to the back of the popsicle. Okay, this should be nice and dry by now. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to flip it over. If you flip it over, just make sure you're flipping it, just make sure everything's nice and dry first. I'm going to flip mine over here, then I'm going to give it 3 dots on there, and then I'm going to eyeball the center and then just let it sit. While that's sitting, then you have your string. Let me get some scissors, hang on. Let that dry, and it dries fairly fast. Then you can put your string through the holes. Of course, that one is frayed. Come on. Oh, booger. It may actually be easier to knot it first. There we go. Oh my goodness, this is being a pain. Let me try the other one. Come on. Well, I hope you don't have the trouble that I'm having. Maybe grab it with something that's sharp to help get it to pull. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So lesson learned. You guys make sure you maybe string the string to those holes first and then glue it on. That'll be extremely helpful. Okay. And then let me see if I can put it through. No, I can't put it through that way because I won't be able to grab it. Okay. Wow. Yeah. And I'll write that in the instructions too. There we go. Okay. Just give it a little give, enough room here. All right. And there you have it. Isn't that the cutest thing? I hope you guys love it. Enjoy. Happy 4th of July. Happy summer. And I will see you next month.